Well, good evening. And it's been a while since I've actually been in the driver's seat of a Monday night call. I've been taking a back seat. But today, I'm so excited to be able to introduce you all to Sue Voegt, who has just got such an amazing story. And one of the things I'd love to, like, her bio is massive. Like, my God, I think it's actually the most amazing, huge bio I've ever seen. So I'm not going to read it. You guys can read it yourselves. But one of the reasons why I love to bring people like Sue on, because she's like a highly successful coach, and she's been around the traps for quite a while. She's worked with some of the best in the country. And what's more is the thing I respect about entrepreneurs like the most in a lot of cases is that their longevity and their ability to show resilience and their ability just to be vulnerable and say, hey, look, it has been tough. I've made mistakes. And to like wear those scars instead of hiding them behind bullcrap and like that stuff you see on like that entrepreneurialism, like, hey, you just do one click funnel and you've got a private jet. And it's just not the case. And I think it's ruining a lot of people's chances to be successful in business. And look, Sue's here. She's going to share a story. She's got an incredible story. And I'm just going to shut up because I'm gushing now. Sue, just take over. Tell us a bit about your story. Tell us all about your story. And yeah, share about how awesome you are.
Thank you very much, Joel. Look, as Joel said, my story goes on for quite a lot of years, because I'm not a young spring chicken anymore. And as Joel said, there are many challenges as you go through an entrepreneurial journey. And my entrepreneurial journey actually started when I was quite young. I was around the age of about 21. I'd just come to Australia. I had my husband, who is my ex-husband now, but I had my husband with me and my little 2-year-old child. And the challenges that I faced coming to a new country were, I didn't have any friends, I didn't have any relatives here. I had to really start again. Had no support whatsoever to look after my child so that we could have some space to go out places. So it was quite challenging, but I was introduced to Party Plan at quite that young age of 21, and I decided it was a really great opportunity. However, what I realized was that I was really very scared. I had no idea how I could do this, especially on my own. And I didn't feel very confident, but yet I loved the product and I loved the idea of actually being able to go out there and being able to promote a product that I really, really enjoyed, really loved and used a lot. But my mindset really got in the way. And actually, I didn't really do anything at all with that opportunity. And I got faced with it again, actually, when I turned around the age of about 34, 35. That opportunity was presented to me again at that time in my life. Now, between the age of 17 and sort of 34, I'd already had my own mortgage. I'd achieved quite a number of things in my life. And actually, around the age of 34, I actually ended up moving over to Perth and owning my own home over there. And so, I had quite a lot going for me, but my marriage was crumbling. So at the end of the day, I had lots of things that were really amazing, but there was also still lots of challenges in my life. And but I came across this, actually 2 or 3 times I've come across the opportunity of either doing network marketing or Party Plan. And I've knocked a few back on the way. And eventually around the age of about 34, 35, when I started my life again and reinvented myself, I was presented again with this opportunity of doing Party Plan. And I decided that I would jump on board this time, and then I wouldn't be so scared, and I would just try and make it work. And so I spent about 12 months actually really involved with that particular company. The same company actually that I got involved with at the age of 21. So it was the same product. I'd used it for many years, and I decided I would just go for it. I had nothing to lose. However, I really, really struggled with getting people on board with, I was fine selling a product. I was actually doing really well with sales. And I remember I did a lot of personal development through this network marketing company. And I remember standing out at the front of the room each week announcing how well I'd done in sales. But unfortunately, I miserably failed. And it's all lessons learned. There is no failure. But I miserably failed at actually bringing on business people. And that really knocked me back, actually. So I decided to give that up. And I remarried and started a new life. And everything was going really well for me at that time. And then my husband at the time decided that we should have a business, which we invested in. And that went really well. And we had 6 years of great income. Things were going fantastic, and lo and behold, another hurdle took place. So there was lots of reasons that this happened. It was not mindset this time, but it was not understanding about business and business acumen and understanding accounting and the principles of business, building a business, getting people on board, employing people. And we ended up, unfortunately, going down the journey of bankruptcy, and we lost absolutely everything. And it was a very sad time, actually. And it took me quite a long time to build my confidence up again so that I could really go out there. But the one thing that I've learned in my life is that I'm a very determined person. So I just kept smashing through the things that I knew that I wanted. So I tried quite a number of businesses along the way as well. I did wedding invitations. I did many different little side hustles, and again, some network marketing stuff as well. So what I've learned about myself is that I'm very resilient, that I'm very determined, and I just keep hammering away at whatever it is. There's something inside me that tells me that there's something more in me than just basically the 9-to-5 job. So I just keep smashing it out and just keep going. And it's been quite an incredible journey because of that. I've had many challenges along the way. It's probably, like Joel said, you know, my bio is quite big. There's so many challenges, there'd be too many to mention, actually. But one of the big things that I have realized, actually, in business, that no matter which business you are in, work marketing, whether it's franchising, I've also been a franchisor. So whether it's franchising, whether it's network marketing, whether it's coaching, whether it's a traditional business, whatever business you are in, the fundamentals are still the same. You must have the fundamentals in place, and you must start off with your foundation strongly in place so that you can build on your foundation in your business. And along with that is, it's fundamentally important that you have your mindset in the right place too. So that's just a little bit about, you know, where I was, where I've been, and as I mentioned to Jill, there's been just many challenges that I've had along the way. You know, a couple of divorces, I've lost money a couple of times through, you know, bankruptcy as well as through divorce. And I think actually the challenges in life actually make you stronger as well. So whilst they seem really challenging at the time, they actually do make you stronger, unless of course you fall in a heap, which I've never done. So so I'm happy about that. Yeah, so that's basically what's happened to me over the last 40 odd years. Yeah,
that's amazing. And early on you said that you had a lot of fear. Like, I'm curious, how did you overcome that fear? Like, what steps did you take, and do you have different strategies now to when you were younger to overcome the fear of, like, going into business? And
actually, when I was around the age of 21, I didn't feel confident. And I spoke to a coach around confidence around 4 or 5 years ago. And what I actually realized was that I was quite confident in a lot of areas, but I wasn't competent. So being competent and having or lacking confidence are two different things. That's what I've discovered. So I wasn't really confident when I was 21, or I didn't feel like I was confident. I also didn't feel confident when I was sort of 34, and I didn't feel confident again a number of years ago, fairly recently actually. And it was around not being competent about doing things. So what I discovered was that I discovered neuro-linguistic programming, and the discovery of neuro-linguistic programming actually occurred when I met my current partner. He had a friend who delivered neuro-linguistic programs, and I had not heard of this system at all. And I decided that I would investigate, and ultimately what I did was I jumped on board. And what I found was it was the most amazing tool that I've ever used in personal development ever in my life. I've done a few personal development courses with many different people, especially in the network marketing space actually, and also in the corporate world, because I've worked in the corporate world for many years for some very large companies, supporting, high-end executives in their roles as their personal assistant. And so I've done many personal development courses, but what I found was that neuro-linguistic programming and the tools that they use with their courses was really what got me over the line of no longer feeling or no longer having fear, and being able to move through that. Now, we all have fear, and we need the fear, because the fear helps us to stay safe as well. You don't want to get to the edge of a cliff and just jump over the edge when quite clearly you might kill yourself, unless of course that's what you want to do, but we hope not. It was sort of clearing out the emotions that were holding me back, and I was able to smash through them just from doing the neuro-linguistic programming and the tools that they use through that system to clear out the belief systems that I had. So I used to believe that I wasn't good enough. I used to believe that I couldn't do it. I used to believe that, how can I be worth sharing my information or my knowledge with someone else? Why is my knowledge or my information so important? I didn't feel important. I just didn't feel that I was worthy of telling my story. And it's only really been recently, in the last probably 3 years, and more importantly over the last 12 months to 24 months, where I've really felt that I am worthy of telling my story, and people I should share it with people, because I'm being selfish if I don't. I believe an amazing story to tell, and so every day I actually feel really grateful for all of my past, because I know that my past will inspire someone somewhere in the world, even if it's only one person a week or one person a month. I know that does that now. So neuro-linguistic programming was really the tool that got me over the fear and the belief systems that I had within me. We all grow up experiencing different beliefs and different values. And for me, I grew up with a beautiful family. There were 6 of us all together, mum, dad, and my three sisters. So there was 4 girls all together in the family. And I almost felt that I was compared with my older sisters a lot. And my mum, bless her, she did the best that she could with what she had. But she would constantly tell me that I was stupid. She would constantly say to me that you forget things, you're useless, you can't learn anything. So these were the belief systems that I grew up with. I believed that I was stupid. I believed for many years that I was stupid, and I believed that I couldn't learn anything, and I believed that I wasn't worth anything, and that I always needed to be compared with people. So that was an area that I really struggled with. And I actually really struggled with learning the neuro-linguistic programming in the very first place, because I was very fearful when I went into the classroom that I wouldn't be able to learn it. Like, how am I going to learn all of this information? And every single day that I did it, I was in tears, until I finally broke through and realized that, I had been holding on to all of these fears and all of these crazy beliefs that just were not true about myself. Yeah, so I now use those tools, and I am grateful every day, and I write gratitude notes every day, every evening. I have a notepad at the side of my bed, and I write my notes every evening about what I'm grateful for that day. Always 3 things, and always setting my intention for the next day. So I hope that helps to answer that question.
Yeah, that's amazing. And thank goodness that you are telling your story now. As soon as I heard that one, felt like I've known you for a while, and but when I got on that Facebook Live, I was just like, wow, I've got to get her on a Monday night call. It was just like your first one of your 30 days. You were doing a challenge. I was like, people need to hear this story. So thank you for making your way onto the call and telling the story. I hope you hear millions of people. But so like there were many years before you had NLP in your life, and like I've seen it be a game changer for so many. But like how, like before NLP and as you're going through the setbacks, like how did you come back from them? Because I know there's a lot of people like either listening live now or on the replay that could be going through tough times now, or they're going to face tough times. They're going to face face like tough times, face setbacks, and you know, some people just have that fear of like going for their goals one day because they just can't handle another setback. So, like before NLP, how did you just keep getting back up? Like what was your secret?
Yeah, it's actually a really good question. I think internally I just knew that I was better than falling down all the time, but I did surround myself with people who were who thought positively, like, that they definitely had positive thoughts every day. And so when I've changed the people that I've surrounded myself with, for sure, since my, say, first marriage, or even since I was like, 14 or 15 years of age, as we do, as we grow older. And what I realized, if I look back on it, actually, it was because of those people that I surrounded myself with that have actually helped me to get out of the doldrums, or out from, the shit, excuse my expression, but the shit that's gone on in my life, to just keep on, plugging away and getting through it. Look, I know that deep down inside I'm a very determined person. I remember being told, many, many years ago, when I was still at school, I was caught smoking in the toilets, and as we often, go through as teenagers, I was caught in the toilet smoking, and my teacher at the time, she was a history teacher, I can remember her name. She said to me, "You'll never be anything in your life, Susan. You'll never be anything." And I remember thinking at the time, I'm going to show you that I will be something. And how dare you stand there and tell me this? And I don't know, it's just always been there at the back of my mind. Like I say, I mean, she's probably the only teacher's name that I can ever remember. And sometimes I wonder whether the teachers actually do this on purpose to actually encourage you, to find that voice within you, so that you do actually reach out and become the person that really you are truly, or you deserve to be. So I have questioned that in the past, but I think more importantly, it's about who I've surrounded myself with. More importantly, because they've always been, since the age of about 21, and more so from the age of about 34, positive people who constantly are talking in a positive way. We talk about affirmations being a positive way of thinking, and they definitely work. I'll tell you another story about affirmations in a moment, but just constantly, turning your language around is a really great tip. And look, it's not always easy when you are, curled up in a corner, but at the end of the day, you have to question, well, I can either stay in this corner and have no life whatsoever, and somehow somebody's going to discover me and do whatever, or I can actually just take little baby steps and just move out of this situation that I'm in and make my life better for myself. So there's probably a number of things, definitely hanging around with the right people. And the older I've got, I guess the people I'm hanging around with are even more focused on building businesses, or they're more focused on being entrepreneurs. They're more focused on getting results. The older I've got, the more I've realized how so important that is. So I do a lot of that now. And so going back to affirmations and vision boards. So I know that you just spoke about, you know, there are people that have goals, or they're too scared to set goals. Look, I've heard this 100 times. I used to coach personal assistants, and they'd say, why do I need goals? I'm so worried that if I write a goal, I'm not going to achieve it, and then I'll feel like a failure. Well, the thing is that when you write a goal, it's not set in concrete. It can change. The goalposts can change, and they do change for many people. They've changed for me on so many different levels at so many different times. And having a vision board is extremely powerful. Writing down your goals, writing down, you know, the 100 things that you are looking for in your life is really important and really powerful. And I can't stress to you how important it is. You can only find this out for yourself when you physically do it, right? It's not until you physically do it that you realize how powerful it is. So going back to affirmations and setting visions, there was a time again in my life when I was around about the age of, again, 34, when I was really starting to think about this entrepreneurial journey, that one of my bosses, I worked in the corporate world, and one of my bosses told me, I was actually looking at a magazine. I was looking at a magazine with a Porsche Boxster in it. And Porsche had just released this Porsche Boxster, and I was in love with it. I was seriously in love with it. And I was on a personal assistance wage. I was on a very small income. There was, you know, through my eyes, thinking, I don't know how I'm ever going to afford to buy this car. I had no idea. But what I did know was I really would like that car. I really wanted to have that car. And somewhere along the way in my life, I would achieve it. I didn't know when. So what I did was, he asked me, you know, what I was doing. And I said to him, I'm just looking at this magazine. I'm in love with this Porsche, and I'm going to cut it out, and I'm going to buy this Porsche one day. And he said, oh, there's no way you'll ever get that Porsche. He said, on your kind of income. And again, I thought, well, there's somewhere along the way, I'm going to prove you wrong. So I cut out the photograph, the magazine, the outline of the car, which funnily enough had SV as a registration on it, and number 56, which is actually the year I was born. I'm telling my age now. But it had those numbers in the registration on the car. It was obviously just a fake, but it had it anyway. So I cut it out, and I pasted my Porsche Boxster, which was yellow, onto my computer. I had a computer at that time. It wasn't a laptop. And I just stuck it on my computer. I saw that car every single day. Every single day that I sat at my computer was the vision of my Porsche Boxster, a beautiful yellow car with my registration on it. And every day I would use the passwords of Porsche on my computer to get into my systems as well. And the power of that visualization has seriously paid off for me, because I came across some money in my life. I had absolutely no idea. I had no, I didn't need to think about what I was going to do with it. The very first thing I did was get online, have a look, find my Porsche, and I actually did purchase a Porsche. And I'm so super happy that I've done that. It's actually the love of my life. Sorry, Rob, but it's the love of my life, and I dearly, dearly have fallen in love with it. But I know that if I hadn't have cut out that piece of paper and visualized that every day, I would have forgotten about it. It would have just gone out of my mind. And when it came to buying a new car, I may have bought something else. I seriously believe I would have bought something else. But the fact that it was in my mind every day, every time I went to my laptop, there was never a moment where I thought that I wasn't going to buy that car. And so I visualized it, and it happened. And it's seriously one of the big, my major milestones in my life. So the power of visualization and grateful notes and having your intent every day, definitely is, and having new goals. Don't be fearful of setting goals, because you may not achieve them, but at some stage you probably will.
That's gold. I'm curious, out of everyone on the call, who's going to cut out their favorite car and stick it on their computer tomorrow or tonight? You guys can print it out, get amongst it. That's gold. It's how you get what you want, right? So
absolutely, yeah.
So like, it doesn't seem like you're scared to ask for help. It just is that true? Just from your story, sounds like that you are now, like, you're hanging around the right people. You must be, you've gone and you've got coached. You've gone and found mentors. You found, like, even early on, you were being coached at an earlier age. Like how important is that for your success? And do you suggest that people go out and ask for help, or try to do it on their own?
Yeah, I highly suggest people go out and find a coach. Highly suggest that you find somebody that's doing things more successfully to what you're doing, and follow the steps that they've done. It certainly gets you there a lot quicker than, making the mistakes yourself or trying to find the way. They've already found the way, so go out there and follow them. I haven't always been great at asking for help, actually. But in the last probably about 3 years, definitely, that I've changed my mindset around that, and I've realized that I do need help, and that I also have my own coach. I have a couple of different coaches, actually, and I have people who help me to stay accountable. So I have accountability coaches, but I also have coaches that help me to get to the next level, because they're already at that level. So I highly recommend that, you hang around with people that are at a higher level than you, and also that you do definitely ask for help. There is only way to find out how to get there, and that's to ask for help. But I haven't always been great at that. I've always felt, actually, for many, many years, I felt that asking for help was a weakness. But now I realize that asking for help is actually a strength, because there are so many people out there as well that are happy to help you. They want to see you succeed. If you're hanging around with the wrong people, maybe they don't want you to succeed, because they're in fear themselves. They're in fear of losing you, that you might grow beyond them, especially in relationships. But asking for help and reaching out is definitely something that I highly recommend. The minute I started to do that was the minute I started to grow.
Wow, that's amazing. So, like, do you have a story where you've realized that you've had a humongous impact on someone else? Like, have you got a story around that?
An impact on someone else. Yes, actually, I do. I can recall a story from quite a few years ago, actually. I mean, I've probably got more recent ones as well, if I think about it. Actually, yes, I do. Because I've recently had an impact on a young lady who has recently, from my 30-day lives, actually, she reached out to me, and she'd been thinking about doing certain things in her life that she was just unsure about. She wanted some freedom. She wanted to be able to create her own life. She had some massive goals that she wanted to achieve, and they were all around helping disadvantaged children in her own country. And through my Facebook Lives, she's now managed to take the courage forward and actually go on this journey, which is going to take her approximately 6 months. So she's already started the journey. She's moved away from her family at the moment, who are being very well supported. She's put all of that support in place, and she's on this journey now to help other children in actually her own country. Which is a third world country, and she's doing great things, and I'm super, super proud of her, because she arrived here actually in Sydney, and we haven't met since she arrived, and she actually didn't share the story with me until we met. So it's new to me, only in the last week actually, that she has done this because of me, and I'm super proud of her, because she literally left her family behind. She had very little money. She had something like $1,000 in her wallet when she left home. She's had to buy food. She's had to pay for her rent. She's had to pay for her flights and just get herself sorted. And the one thing that I do know in life, when you take action, it's amazing how things happen for you. I've got a couple of stories around this, but this particular woman decided to sign up for a course as well. So she added even more pressure to herself. She decided to sign up for a course when she arrived in Sydney. And from signing up in that course, she didn't have a job. And the very next day, she got offered a job. So now she's able to pay for the course. She's on this amazing journey of helping children in her own country, connecting with the right people, and also, you know, finding her own self a coach and also a mindset group. And I'm super proud of her. She just told me yesterday that she'd got this new job that she'd applied for. Minutes from where she lived, everything's just fallen into place for her. So it's so heartwarming when you hear these things and you share your story with somebody and you help them. Yeah.
You never know what the ripple effect's going to be, do you? You just never know. Yeah.
It gives me goosebumps, actually. I get tingles through my body thinking about it, because I know that she's got so much to give as well. Yeah. And this was a woman that was lacking confidence. She wouldn't even get onto Facebook and do a Facebook Live, and she's done all of those things as well because she was following what I did.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Far out. Yeah, it's amazing. You just never know. And I've got a mentor of mine. He actually said that the statistics of the reach you have when you are taking action like you are, you only find out about 2% of the amazing ripples that you have. So only 2% of what effect you have on the world actually gets back to you. The rest of it just goes out into the ether, and I guess that's where karma comes from. Hey, so
that's very true. Yeah, it's funny because I went to a 50th birthday party on Saturday night, and I met up with people that I've not seen for like 5 years, and I've been on Facebook, you know, regularly on and off. And these people were asking me, so are you still doing this and are you still doing that? And I have not seen any likes from them or anything like that. So people are following your story. People are following your journey. You've got no idea that they're following it, but that was proof to me. I've heard it so many times before, but I hadn't seen these people for 5 years, and they knew everything about me.
Oh,
I was like, wow.
Another feeling. I had a phone call recently from a friend, an older mentor of mine again. And he's like, "Oh, I'm seeing you doing this, and this on Facebook." I'm like, he goes, "That's really good." I'm like, "Well, would it kill you to press the like button just to give me some sort of pat on the back?" But
yeah,
we don't need that.
Let me know you're there.
It's amazing, isn't it? So,
True.
So with everything that you do, what brings you the most joy, even with all the hard work?
Helping others. I have no doubt about saying that. For me, it's all about helping others. I've been asked so many questions along the way. What's your passion? How do you know your purpose? And every single time I come back to helping others, and I would do what I'm doing for free. And for me, that tells you that you found your passion. Obviously, I need to pay my bills. I need to pay for my petrol and all those types of things. But I would seriously do what I do for free, just helping others to achieve what they are looking to achieve in their lives, to help them to be a better version of themselves, you know, to get somewhere, to get out of those, you know, low points, to lift them up and inspire them. I love to inspire people. I love putting inspiring things out on Facebook, actually. That's probably the most posts that I do is inspiring quotes. I just love them. So yeah, it's all about helping people for me. And look, I've been in helping people industry for such a long time, being in a personal assistance role. And I actually fell into that role, to be honest with you. It wasn't something that I planned or mapped out. It wasn't a goal of mine to assistant. I fell into it, but then I realized that this is what I love doing. It was a passion of mine to help other people to, you know, achieve their goals. What I found is over the many years of working in corporate is I've actually been achieving other people's goals for them and not actually achieving my goals for myself, which is why I've now gone out on my own and doing what I'm doing. So yeah.
Well, I know one thing's for sure is that you're definitely inspiring 26 people on this call tonight. So
amazing.
Yeah, I'm seeing the comments and yeah, like amazing. So if you had a superpower, what would it be?
Well, if I had a superpower, it would probably be, I've recently done a bit of a profile actually around Braveheart. And for me, I know the Braveheart doesn't actually have a superpower as such, but what Braveheart has done really inspires me. You know, we're talking about taking on a village, a city, a country, and moving it forward. And that's really what I believe my superpower is, to take people and help them through the limiting beliefs that they might have about themselves, to break through the barriers that hold them back, especially in business, because as entrepreneurs, I know what it's like to have, been held back. And so moving people forward so that they can, conquer their world and help other people, that's what it's all about for me. That's my superpower.
That is like one of the best answers I've ever heard. So that was amazing. Most people just say they want to fly. So it's like they don't even hear the question correctly. But anyway, actually answered it correctly, so it was great. Okay, so before I ask the last question, which I didn't actually send you, so it's the curly one.
That's okay. Throw it at me.
Yeah, so where can they find you? Where can our team? Where can on social media? Do you have a website? Where can we get more Sue?
Okay, yeah. My website is still in the process of being built. So the best place to catch me actually would be on social media, on Facebook. I don't do a lot of Instagram. I'm really focusing my energy on Facebook at this stage, and then I'll branch out later. I just know that, if you focus on one thing at a time, then it helps you to stay focused and you get to where you're going. So Facebook, definitely. Yeah. And it's just literally my name.
We know there's 30 amazing Facebook Lives there for everyone to watch. So if
absolutely,
they want to live, they're all there. So,
and ask questions. If you need to ask questions, throw them at me. In fact, I actually welcome questions. Especially, I really would welcome questions around, business and building business as well, because that will help me to help more people around what questions you have building a business. I know what my questions are. I know what my questions are over the many, 30 or whatever years I've had of building business, but your questions might be different to mine. And I would love to hear lots of questions, actually.
Wow, what an invitation. Well done, guys. You need to get onto this. Like the callers that we have are just wealths of knowledge and fantastic. So I got my last question. So if you had a billboard and the entire world could see it, what would it say?
Oh my gosh. Believe in yourself. Just believe in yourself. You've got so much more than what you can ever imagine. And it's all deep down inside. And you just have to trust yourself and just believe and go out there and do what you believe is rightfully yours.
Wow.
It's a massive thing. Yeah.
I nearly need to get Liz to back me up because I'm speechless. This has been such an amazing bloody call. I nearly need to take someone else in. Guys, show your support, show how amazing this call was. Go crazy in the chat for
Thank you.
This is brilliant. And yeah, look, we're going to have you back on again. This has just been so great.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I feel very, very, very grateful to have been invited on. Thank you for allowing me to share my story, which at some stage in my life didn't think was anything special, to be really honest with you. But I have realized that I can help others by sharing my story. So thank you. I'm very grateful.
Vulnerability is strength, and it's just how you connect. It's just you've connected with the entire call. It was just so great. So yeah, I'm just
thank you so
recording.
much.
Thank you.